Alright, so we're going to be talking about the new tablet that I got. In this case, I got the new XenceLabs, the Medium bundle. So this is not a promotional video or anything like that. I bought it from my own pocket. And the reason why I decided to make this video, and also why I decided to change the tablet, is because I was so tired of Wacom drivers. You can imagine. 2 months ago when I bought it, I got my last Wacom driver performance issue. That issue when the tablet just loses sensitivity and so on. And I said, man, it's been years working with this tablet and Wacom is still not doing nothing about it. So I just need to move on and do something and find something on the market that can fit that need. I have a very strong opinion when it comes to hardware. I'm an artist working for 14 years already on the industry. And when it comes to hardware, I'm trying to get stuff that I know it can stay for a long period with me, okay? And one thing that I noticed with this tablet specifically is that as soon as I took it out from the package, it felt premium. It felt actually pretty good. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually a metal base, which I kind of like the fact that it doesn't feel like cheap plastic at all. And even on the top part, it felt actually very nice. So in general lines, just the initial feeling was actually pretty good, which kind of surprised me. And that in comparison with my old Wacom tablet, which is here. I don't know if you can tell the size difference, but just by default you can tell that it's smaller. This one feels slightly more rubberish, or like slightly more plasticky even. So I kind of felt also that it was better when it came to the construction, how it was built. So the other impression that I wanted to give you is about the driver's installations. It was quite straightforward, so you just pretty much log into the XenceLabs website and just download the drivers. It works straight. One difference that I probably have from different setups is the fact that I do have a Wacom Cintiq still working on my computer, which means that I still have Wacom drivers working here. Well, I'm going to be having XenceLabs drivers working on this computer. What I noticed is that out of the box, I did have one issue. I didn't have the tablet sensitivity working correctly, and I had to restart the computer after the driver's installation. And after that, the problem disappeared. So if you guys happen to have like a different brand when it comes to drivers, like this is my case, that I still have the Cintiq, just be mindful about that. Okay. The tablet in general is quite small. I got the medium size, which I felt is perfect, to be fair, because I noticed when we are sculpting, at least, we tend to make very small strokes. So in general lines, I knew that I want to have something small and also something portable, since I need to be also using this tablet on the go. On the top part, you're going to have the drawing area, which is like it feels very nice. It feels slightly some small texture here, some small like a soft rubberish texture, which I like quite a lot. And something I really like about this tablet is about the space, about the drawing space. I never liked tablets with side buttons, for example. Never liked them. In fact, I find them extremely annoying. Extremely annoying because a lot of times you are just drawing or you're sculpting, and it happens that you start touching those buttons. And to be fair, like as a 3D artist, I don't need buttons on the tablet, especially if it's a drawing tablet, since my left hand is going to be focused on the keyboard. I literally don't need anything else. So I really like that. The only 3 buttons that actually has is these 3 buttons that it has on top of the tablet, which if final run they are mapped automatically. I didn't find any way to kind of change them. And the way it works is that with the left one, if final run, you open the tablet drivers, and with the other 2, if final run, you switch between monitors, so you kind of tell the tablet which area is mapped according to your screen. On the bottom part is metal, which is actually pretty cool, and it has this rubberish feel like base, which avoid the tablet to slide, which is actually very nice. It feels like maybe they might peel off on the future, but to be fair, it seems fine so far, so I wouldn't do say nothing bad about it. It feels actually pretty good. On the top part, I don't know if you guys can see here, you're going to find first the USB-C port. That's great. Finally, USB-C port. You have also the on and off, slider. And also on the top corner, you're going to have the Kensington lock, in case you feel like someone is going to steal your tablet, or you feel you're working in an environment where it doesn't feel safe. But in general lines, and also it's super light. It's like literally hyper light, so very good feeling when it comes about how the tablet is actually built. So good job on that one. You also have here 4 LEDs. Let's see if you can see on the screen. Yeah, you have 4 LEDs here, which I really loved. The reason why is because obviously this is the working space, but they do change color. And they do change color according to the application that you use and how you actually set it up. So the medium bundle is also going to come with a glove. The glove feels nice. In my case, I don't use glove, especially when it comes to drawing tablet. I don't feel the need to using gloves. I only feel the need to use a glove when it comes to work in the screen tablet, which obviously you don't want to have any friction when it comes to the sculpting session. So it feels actually pretty good, but to be fair, I haven't used it completely. So yeah, it's just like if it's on your preference, yeah, it actually feels good. And something that I noticed as well in difference with different gloves is the fact that you have this wrist area, so it's slightly higher than normal wrist, which is actually pretty good. Let me just actually put it on for you. Easier. So it actually goes very high. Which is very nice in case you are constantly, putting your wrist also on top of the tablet or on top of the screen, so you also can avoid that friction. It feels also that it's stretching off. I do have very small hands, so it's still fine for me. I believe if you have bigger hands, it's fine as well. I don't know. The glove itself actually feels pretty good, Now let's talk about the pen case before jumping into the pens. The pens comes with all what you see here. You have like a different nibs. You have if I'm not wrong, it's like 6 nibs and 4 like felt nibs. I haven't tried these last ones, to be fair. I've been just using the plastic one, the plastic normal one, which feels quite fine. As a personal preference, I did quite like the Wacom one with the small spring on it. Just because I really like to feel that, like that sensitivity. But so far, so good. It doesn't feel like I do need anything else. And to be fair, it seems like I'm going to stay this at least for a year, so it seems absolutely fine. Also with this, it comes the nib remover, which is here. And also on the pen case, you're going to find the wireless connection, which is USB-A. So you guys are aware of that. And then on top of that, in case you're working with a laptop and you only have USB-C connection, you have a dongle that comes from USB-A to USB-C. So you guys are aware of that. And then I'm going to show you quickly the pens, because here is where actually kind of surprised me for good and for bad. So this is the main pen that comes with the tablet, all right? One of the cool things about this pen, let me see if you guys can see it, is the fact that this pen comes with 3, let me just frame it better, with 3 different buttons, and all of them with different textures, which it feels pretty cool, but surprising enough, it's actually quite useless, at least in my opinion. And I'm going to explain you why. Obviously, once I grab it, I feel like, okay, it feels natural, but the fact that there is so much distance between these two and the third bottom pen, the third bottom, it make me this move every time I was pressing it, which was extremely annoying because I was moving my cursor over the screen every time I was pressing it. So I noticed that it wasn't such a nice experience. In fact, also one thing that I noticed, if I compare to my Wacom, my Wacom pen, is that I noticed that the Wacom pen is slightly heavier, especially on the tip. so it felt more natural when I have to sculpt in comparison with this one, which is slightly lighter, and I believe that is impacting when it comes to that specific action, this press action. Also, this bottom I think is slightly hard, it's slightly mushy, that involves this type of extra movement on the pen, which is absolutely unnecessary. So I was a bit disappointed the fact that I didn't like it, this one specifically. But on the other hand, I got this pen, which, all right, it was a bit awkward because it's thin. It's a thin pen. I haven't never sculpted on thin pen, and it's very light. It feels almost like a normal pen. This one comes with the 2 normal buttons, so it's just left and right, which is fine. These the normal buttons. But what I noticed is that as soon as I grabbed it, even if I didn't have the thick thick head, it felt so natural. And I think the fact that I just felt like I was just sculpting with a normal pen, it just felt naturally. So fun enough, from day one, this became now my major pen. Now this is actually the pen that I use for every single sculpt or whatever I'm doing. So I don't know, I was very surprised about it. I would never thought that I would actually like a thin pen. They both, by the way, they come with the with the extra button here for eraser or whatever you want to set it up. I never felt the need as a 3D artist to use any of that, but in case you are into that, you guys are aware of that. But yeah, very interesting, this pen. I wouldn't stop recommending it because actually it does the job pretty well. Alright, so now let's talk about the cherry on top of the cake from the bundle. That is the QuickKeys. That is this one that you see here. Sorry about the flickering. I promise it's not like that. It's just because of the camera refresh rate, but it looks actually fine in real life. Okay. So when it comes to the QuickKeys, let me just try to frame it correctly. It's like if you guys have some experience with, for example, the Wacom Express key, it's slightly bigger than that one. I don't know if you guys have tried the Wacom Express key. It's a piece of trash, to be fair. Like, I never used it. Not only that, this dial or whatever it's called, it's absolutely, I don't know, it works extremely bad. And to be fair, I only can think about one place where to put this. That is pretty much the trash. The one thing that I like out of the box is actually the dial. The dial is actually a normal, like a radial, the way it works actually looks pretty fine. And the only thing that I don't like is the fact that I feel it has not too much friction, or not friction enough, so it actually goes too fast in my opinion. But to be fair, that's up to you guys. And then on the bottom, you're going to have one clickable button that what it's gonna do is gonna switch between different modes that you later can set up. We're going to talk about that later. And also on top of that, you're going to have like 8 different buttons here, and also you can map them to different actions depending on what you do. And then on top of that, you have this other button here, which also you can map. One thing that I don't like about this the QuickKeys is the fact that to make it work, as far as I can tell, you always have to have it connected on the USB-C. And I feel like this kind of item is something that either should be sitting on your desk, or maybe something that you want to be grabbing constantly with your with your hand. So somewhat it feels like the fact that you need to have an extra cable constantly hanging around your desk, it feels like absolutely unnecessary. So I feel like this should be actually Bluetooth or something. So that's something I didn't like. My personal experience, to be honest with you, I've been already a few months with this. It's no needed as a 3D artist. The reason why is because as a 3D artist, I do need so many shortcuts constantly. So my left hand is constantly on the keyboard, which means that I constantly doing operations with the keyboard. I have no way that I need to navigate through all bunch of different options. Even if I have to switch between different modes, I will need to be clicking here, then clicking here. I don't know, it feels absolutely unnecessary doing so many actions. Perhaps if you are a 2D artist or you are drawing, you need less actions, and maybe it's something that you might be interested on. But if you are thinking about getting the bundle with the QuickKeys, I will say no, you don't need that, absolutely not. One thing that you might be actually interested of is the fact that you know that you actually can set up also some Windows actions with this stuff. So something very interesting is the fact that not only you can map it for different softwares like Zbrush, Photoshop, Maya, whatever, but also you can open folders, you can do some very limited actions inside Windows. But in case you are into this kind of stuff, into like into macros and like this kind of stuff, it's interesting. The bag, I mean, what I can say, just a bag, like nothing outstanding. If it does the job, I think, to be fair, it's too excessive for the tablet. It's quite, like a cushion and everything, so it feels pretty good. If I take the tablet and put it here, yeah, it fits perfect. So nice job. You can put also the express key and everything, which is pretty nice. So you can have everything. But to be fair, like I don't see the need of using a bag for a tablet. The tablet's already going to be on my backpack, which means that it's going to be also protected. So I don't see the need. Nevertheless, funny enough, I just made a test because I do own a laptop, 14 inches laptop, which I use for when I travel. And I just wanted to make a quick test. So I got this laptop here that is 14 inches. And if I put it inside, check this out. It just fits perfect. Not only that, it's like, even it feels like it's actually made for that. So something that maybe you want to be aware of, if you own a 14 inches laptop, this bag actually works perfect. And for a laptop, I definitely will use a case like this because it prevents from falling and this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something that is just cool. And one of the things that actually makes a big difference if we comparing the XenceLabs tablet against Wacom is the aspect ratio. So you might asking like why it's so important. I was not aware of that, so if you guys want to see some examples, I'm going to explain you quickly. So the aspect ratio on a Wacom tablet is 16:10, which means that actually there is some stretching happening on here. On the other hand, the aspect ratio on the XenceLabs tablet is actually 16:9. So this actually makes a huge difference, since affect the position of the pen on the tablet and what corresponds on the position on the screen. So this is actually quite important, because for an artist, if you need to be more accurate on your strokes, obviously you can change the mapping on the Wacom to use a 16:9 ratio, but this reduces also the active surface area of the tablet, which makes a good percentage of the tablet just sitting there, just useless. When it comes to installation, installation came quite straightforward. So you just get into the website and download the latest version. The key mapping was very user-friendly and you can customize it very fast. So when it comes to set the LED color, here I decided just to go for intuitive colors for the apps. So for example, when I open Photoshop, I naturally think about blue, so I set up the blue color. So same for different software, so orange for Zbrush, green for Maya, and so on. And they do trigger actually automatically by the time you're running the app on the foreground, so it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, the remote control on the other hand has 4 different color profiles, and those colors are already established and they will trigger depending when you click the button that is inside the radio. So when it comes to the price, I love the fact that this tablet is actually cheaper than a Wacom, but it still feels premium about it. Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think it's very healthy for the industry in general that Wacom finally has a good competitor that is able to provide same value, at least, for less money. And that only can just, that only can make the industry just to get better products over time. So my verdict, if you should buy the XenceLabs tablet as your main tablet, I say yes. The reason why is because definitely as a pro artist, my experience has been actually just positive in general. Now, if you are thinking about buying the full bundle when it comes with the medium tablet, also with the QuickKeys, I will say no, you absolutely don't need the QuickKeys. I definitely didn't need it. Again, as I explained before, we 3D artists, we tend to use so many shortcuts in every single app. There is no way it can become faster just by using one single control remote. We do still need to trigger like a whole bunch of different, setups. So I don't really think you need it. So just the bundle with just the pen and the tablet is more than enough. So 100% recommend this tablet. If you happen to be on the market for a tablet right now, I'm going to leave a link on the description so you can get yourself one. So yeah, very, very well impressed with this. So very recommended.